My name is Justina Dix, and in 1985, we moved into the Summerhill community. When I first got to the Summerhill community, there was a lot going on. We literally lived down the street from one of the biggest dope houses in the community.
When we first got here, basically, that was the beginning of the crack era. When crack came on the scene, what that brought out of people was the idea of committing burglaries and prostitution, car break-in, car thefts, shootings. It actually busted up a lot of families. You know, it just broke up a lot of homes, whether the father became hooked on it or whether it was the mother that became hooked on it, which means it left children to themselves.
We were used to the dads not being in the homes and being on drugs or drinking alcohol and neglecting the kids. But I actually saw a lot of the mothers, and that was hurtful. After about 8 years of raising our children in Summerhill and attending the Atlanta public school system, I noticed that there were a lot of kids who didn't know where to go after school. And what we ended up doing was helping the kids in the neighborhood and supporting the parents.
She had a daycare, and I helped out a lot with taking care of the kids, feeding them and stuff like that, just to help her out. So, and just one day we ended up finding the church. And Phil Ep was the pastor of the church, knew like what's the name. And we ended up going to that camp.
And the pastor said, well, Justina, we heard about what you're doing, that you keep children, you watch children, you help kids with homework. Would you pray about doing this on a more regular basis? It was a little scary at first. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that my heart was for the community that I lived in. And so in the year 1999, I ended up becoming a part of Summerhill Community Ministries.
She decided to go ahead and take over after the church went under. So once the church went under, people in the community, they was like, they didn't know who to look to. So they looked at me just Tina, because they were like, you was running everything, and you got your family by your side. So, hey, she took it over. I ended up becoming the supervisor, and from that point on, we decided to go forward with outreach.
We serve at least 225 to 250 kids a year. This is all a part of our after-school summer camp, our sports program, our teen job training program.
I basically wear many hats, from transporting children to and fro from the center. The maintenance guy, basically, that helped maintain the building and the vans and just overall upkeeps and what have you. Also, I take part in basically being one of the teachers doing summer camp program when it's in session, more than likely assistant teacher, mentoring and what have you, some of the teams, trying to train kids, teach them good work ethic.
Our primary purpose here at Summerhill Community Ministries is to introduce these kids to Christ. We want them to know that there is a God, a true and living God that loves them, who cares about them, who's concerned about what they go through every day.
One of the things that Summerhill focuses on is educating children and really helping them get through school and potentially go to college. And I think education is such an important part of what our children need.
When they come into the center, a very specific amount of time is spent on homework every day. And it has really, I think, has helped them tremendously to keep up in their classes.
A lot of our kids struggle. They're way below reading level and math levels, and some of them don't understand simple, basic math. And so when they come to our program, we're not only helping with homework, but we're tutoring.
One of the students that I see on the wall here in the room, although they were in our after school, the school-based after school program, they were still not on level. And I know that the reading coach that she has here was able to work with her and to build her up to, she's the third grader, and she was able to pass that test that they have in school.
Like starting here, I didn't really like to do work, like at all. And they encouraged me to get the projects done and the homework. So that helped me a lot, passing my classes now.
I have a young man that was really the first student that I have worked with, and he was in 3rd grade at the time and literally could not read a word at all. He could not decode. He'd maybe memorized a few, but not been able to read them. And he was so discouraged, seeing a lot of teasing at school, but now he's just begun to be able to read multi-syllable words, which in the reading community, that's a big thing. That's a motivation for me. He's just very excited about what he's accomplished.
After our homework time, we have a wonderful enrichment time, and the kids are able to participate in cooking and dance and drama, doing a lot of outreach. And we teach them that even though you may not have much, there's always something you can do to help somebody else.
My day starts by like 8:30 in the morning. I pick up the van. I start making my rounds, picking up the kids. We provide transportation service in the mornings and in the afternoon because we want to make sure that the kids get to and from their house safe.
A typical day at SEM summer camp would be us greeting the kids as they arrive for the day. And during that time, we also provide them with breakfast. We then go into our morning devotion. During devotion, there's usually a word of the week where the kids will learn a scripture or the definition of the word or something that draws their relationship closer to God. We then go into our first period, which is Bible study. Then after that, we have enrichment. And this is a time where the kids do drama, dance, music, community service projects, and more. After enrichment or free time is lunch. Usually during lunch we get a hot meal from different organizations that want to come in and donate, or churches even that want to come in and help. After lunch is classroom time, where all the classes separate again. They come back together as a class and they're working on something either educational, or sometimes they'll watch a movie, but it's a moment where the entire building is pretty much silent because each class is doing something personal. Lastly, we have our ending devotion. And during this time, the kids are able to earn points for good behavior and following the rules, and also tell what they may have learned for the day. On Thursdays, we go on a field trip. And the field trip may be going skating, to the movies, going to Stone Mountain, or even going to this place that the kids really enjoy called God's Farm.
Job training is very important too, because I was in the job training position myself, and I ain't gonna lie, it really helped me out here in the real world. It let me understand like what was gonna be the layout, how things was gonna be. You gotta go through an interview process before you get a job. You gotta fill out an application. You gotta bring your own lunch to work. That don't nobody owe you no lunch. You gotta take an hour off. You know what I mean? So I really think it's important because you gotta know them type of things.
I've been able to spend time serving alongside Summerhill Ministries, coaching basketball, as well as flag football during the fall months. And it's been a joy to see the boys that I've coached to both get to interact with each other. And while there's been plenty of moments of tension, there's also been some redeeming moments as well.
One of the improvements I've seen in the children is that they develop in their love for Christ. They develop a relationship with God to begin with. They learn life skills. They learn the importance of getting their education. They learn important things like how to treat people with respect, how to just how to do some of the basic things in life that many of us take for granted.
Some of the major improvements that I've seen in our kids, because they were homeschooled, it was pretty hard for them to integrate with other kids because they were used to each other. But coming to Summerhill really helped them to develop relationships.
Summerhill Camp has helped me with my grades, helped me pray more, and helped me do a lot of things I didn't do before.
Since coming to this program, I've matured a lot, and it helped me be more respectful.
Honestly, when I first came here, I knew there was a God, but I didn't really know much about him. I didn't really go to church, but when I came here, it was more open to me. It was more explained, like they were explaining it better to me. And we would read the Bible, do verses, stuff like that. Like they would break it down better.
You see more kids involved in activities instead of drugs, gang banging. You catch a lot of kids wanting to learn, read and write, be something in life. You're not gonna catch a kid that wanna be something in life if they're not getting the involvement from a center, from someone that's showing them that they love them.
Over the years, we have seen our high school graduation rate rise to 98%. Our teen pregnancy rate of Summerhill kids is 1%. And then incarceration rate is 2%. Our Summerhill staff knows that we cannot do this work alone. We have an awesome volunteer team who works diligently with our staff. And we are so thankful for all of our partners and supporters that have come alongside us over the years. About 7 years ago, Desire Street Ministries moved to Atlanta after Hurricane Katrina. And Danny Warfel met with me and said, Justina, we're thinking about partnering with you guys. What do you think about that? And after we collaborated and had several meetings and talked through things and prayed through, we made the decision to become partners.
At Desire Street, we have the opportunity to see and be a part of a lot of different ministries, but really our sweet spot for partnership comes from someone that lives in the neighborhood where they serve and have what we would call a holistic mindset towards transformation. And by that we mean both spiritual development, evangelism, discipleship, heart transformation, but also looking at the needs of the community.
It brings the two components that we believe anybody needs, whether you be a kid or whether you be an adult. And that is, number one, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, faith in the Lord and the gospel of Christ, coupled with someone or some collection of whether you call it a village, whether you call it a community as it's called at Summerhill, helping in particular the children of Summerhill be nurtured, be mentored, be cared for, be spoken into their lives that they can achieve.
Desire Street Ministries came at a time where we really needed to be encouraged and uplifted, and that's exactly what they did for us. They put their arms around us, they loved on us, they encouraged us to keep going and keep moving, and I'm so grateful for the entire Desire Street Ministries team.
This place in particular, I believe, I look at spiritually, symbolically represent the Garden of Eden. Here, when the children come, they feel safe, they feel love that's being shown. The love of God compels us to love Him unconditionally. So with that, I'm just thankful for that, being a part of this.
Summerhill has provided an opportunity, a second option versus being on the street, throwing your life away. A lot of kids come through this program and a lot of them are doing great right now, and they have Summerhill to thank.
I've seen the growth, and I've seen students that were struggling either academically or whatever situation it was that they had, that they have changed. They wanted to change, but again, when there is something stable there for them to be able to go, it helps eases all of the other concerns that they may take on because that's all they know.
If you don't show children or show people that's blindfolded that there's more to what they'll never see it. You know, God forbid anything, it take a life and death situation for them to wake up. But to actually have a willing vessel that's here and not speak to you, not pour into you, I think that's the worst thing. So Summerhill Community Ministries, I think, is a good platform to show these kids that there are more constructive outlets.
In some places and in some neighborhoods, for different reasons, historically, it begins few and far between to find those role models, those leaders that will be there day in and day out, providing positive reinforcement, loving discipleship, Christian mentoring, and education experiences. And so I think it's invaluable that Summerhill Community Ministry is in the neighborhood and the things that they do, the whole team. It goes on, and it's incredible and invaluable in what they do for the neighborhood.
Children just need to be loved. They need to be hugged. They need to be told how valuable they are. They need to be told how smart they are. They don't get that in the public schools, and they need to be encouraged that they can do anything that they want to set, that they set their mind to, that there are no holds barred. This country gives them every opportunity if they want to take it, and they're smart enough to do it.
As Emmanuel and Justina invest their life, not just spend time teaching the students, but invest their lives in ministering to the students. These students are coming to faith. These students are having opportunities that they would never have. And they're learning the skills that they might not learn elsewhere. And we are so thankful for them.
We want to encourage these kids from kindergarten all the way up to college age to get through. You can make it. You matter. You are important. And you have help and support here at Summerhill Community Ministry.
You know, when I was a young boy, the heroes that I had, the posters on my wall were like Michael Jordan and Dan Marino. But at this point in my life, I have different kinds of heroes. And if there were pictures on my wall now of my heroes, Justina would be up there. Justina Dixon, Summerhill Community Ministries.
I am a woman who comes from the community that I serve in. Through our service, we have seen our kids learn, grow, and flourish. We were there to celebrate many of them as they graduated from high school, and several of them went on to college and got their degrees. As we see these beautiful faces of Summerhill, whose lives have been impacted by our programs, please know that we cannot do this work alone. We welcome you to become a part of our Summerhill family.